Okay, so this entire thing is interesting. As in, a guy waited a full year for a custom PC just for him to not get it and only get a refund. The builder of said PC cycled through 3 different managers, went dark for 6 months thinking that they were gonna get a different builder, and they thought the builder was ignoring them, to then the builder coming back and charging $15,000 for a PC that cost just under $4,000 that was never built, and then asked for $4,000 if they canceled it. Sub if you want. Okay, so this whole drama thing is interesting because it started because of this channel, Cat and Chat or Cat Liente, who made a video about it, where she had screenshots of the chat from the PC builder, and Cat personally made the entire thing into a document that she read and made her video on. To her, the builder basically told her that she hadn't been paid for a year's worth of work that they did for a popular VTuber, Dokibird, for a charity auction that they did in the past. In her video, she spends 2 hours basically calling out Dokibird and defending the artist. And if Kat's name seems familiar, she's been in drama before where she covered VTubing drama, got the entire thing wrong. Because usually, with how she does some of her videos, she only gets one side of the entire thing. And this isn't going to be the last time we talk about her specifically. Let's start from the very beginning. Dokibird announces that she's doing a charity auction on February 19, 2024. People can submit items such as plushies, artworks, and Doki will be paying for, the entire service. And the items of the auction don't have to be finished before the auction starts, giving people, actual time to work on it, since she made that post on the 19th and the auction starts on the 3rd. One of these items that has the main issue is going to be a custom Dokibird PC. The person who's building the PC talks to one of the managers, and here management makes a bit of a mistake. They don't ask the artist how much the PC is going to be before they put it on the auction site, since the artist or builder was out of office. They instead looked at previous builds the artist did, used PC part picker, and based it off of that. The price that they chose was 3,500 USD, and the issue with that is that the actual price of her previous builds was 3,500 pounds, which converted into USD is about 4,300 USD. And something the manager never told the builder/artist is that Doki wanted a duplicate of every single auction item. How the auction works is that the starting price of the item is supposed to equal what the item costs plus cost of labor, and the 3,500 price tag is just on the parts alone. But management didn't know that because of the different currency, and it got messed up. 2 to 3 weeks later, both the management and the builder has some sort of medical emergency, as the builder is recovering from an addiction and the manager was sick. There was also talk about how the PC could be finished by July or August, but nothing was confirmed, and that was the last time they talked to Manager 1. Says Manager 1 told the artist that they were going to leave the company by the end of May, and that someone else is going to replace them who will be a temp. June 8, the temp manager emailed the builder and essentially asked them if they're still open to finish the commission, or if they had been working on the commission, and what would the estimated date be. They asked for an update within 2 to 3 business days, otherwise they would have to go with plan B, which is either to reimburse the winner or find a different PC builder. The artist then responds a whole 10 days later to the email, which is 3 months since she last spoke to anyone on Dokibird's team, essentially saying that they had a medical emergency and had to get signed out. They wish to finish the project if that's an option, and if so, they need a minimum of 6 weeks or a max of 12 weeks to do a project. But they understand if they choose to do plan B, since they didn't give a reply within the 2 to 3 business days, and they hope to hear from the management team soon about the project. 6 months go by, and the next time the builder hears from anyone, it's in January and it's by Dokibird, telling the builder that the auction winner is unhappy with the wait, and Dokibird has personally been pulled into this to fix the issue. The builder's confused since they hadn't heard anything from the team since June, so they don't know what's going on, because they assumed that Dokibird's team went with plan B. Before the start of the auction, Dokibird had been very busy with very personal issues that involved medical treatment, lawyers, and police. At Nijisanji, she was a VTuber named Selen. She tried to leave the company, but management tried to claim that the company owned Dokibird, which is her personal VTuber model that she made before she joined the company. And this was a whole legal battle that involved lawyers, the police, and went on for months till at least the start of August of 2024, but it still could have gone beyond that. Doki and her team got back some control and immediately started working to fix the issues that they couldn't before, and found out that the custom PC for the charity auction had made 0 progress so far. So the plan was to either find a new builder with a budget of at least 6.6 USD, since that's how much the PC ended at the auction, or they can reimburse the winner. By January 19, everyone gets added to a group chat, being the builder, the buyer, the builder's assistant, the new manager, and Dokibird, to try to figure out how they can fix the entire thing. In the private chat between the manager and the builder, the manager calculated how much the parts would cost, and apparently all the parts somehow cost closer to 7.2, when the PC is just 4, before the buyer puts in any of their own stuff. Because the buyer wants to add more things to the PC, they would pay extra for it, but they want to know the budget first. The builder tells the manager that Manager 1 made a mistake by putting the PC as 3,500 USD when it was in pounds. The artist gave the manager a price, where they would charge 3,500 USD, so the price would be advertised on how it was on the auction, plus 2,400 pounds, which is London's minimum wage, working 40 hours a week for 4.3 weeks, which is kind of insane hours that they're charging for this thing when the thing is even built. How can you even calculate in your head saying, yeah, this piece is going to take 172 hours before you even build the thing? So the buyer tells his side of the story, where at the start of the auction, they were contacted by a manager. He wanted to increase the budget with his own money. No one communicated to him, and he was later notified that the artist had some sort of medical emergency and they would have to be gone. The team was looking for a brand new artist, and manager one disappeared and replaced by the temp. The temp never contacted the buyer until the buyer had to. The temp told the buyer that the budget was being allocated. They gave no additional information, and then the temp disappeared. After a couple of days, Dokibird's team tell him that the budget is going to be 7.4. But the buyer's confused if that 7.4 budget includes the builder's labor and work. Since originally the build estimate was going to be 3.5, which is the parts, plus the labor fee, plus administration. To now, to the buyer, it seems like it's 3,500 for the parts, which are subjugated to change, plus labor fees at the time of the auction, plus post-auction labor, plus administrative, plus hassle fee, plus Dokibird's contribution. The reason why the artist charged $13.50, which is the minimum wage, was that they felt bad for the buyer since they had to wait this long, because they thought if they lowered the price for the labor, it would fit the budget and everything would be done a bit quicker since it was for charity, because the artist usually charges $32 an hour. The manager asked for a full quote on everything, which includes pricing at the artist's normal rate, and the date of this is January 26. The builder provided an updated pricing on the entire thing, which included the PC, how much it's going to be charging for labor, with hours, shipping, and tax. And this is before the auction winner has made their mind up on what parts they're going to change, before the parts are even ordered, before the PC's even built, and the builder is charging 6.6 USD before anything is even done as their labor costs, when the PC itself is going to cost $4,000. So the entire thing is going to cost $11,000. In what world does it make sense to charge 6.6 on labor before the actual act of the labor has even started? Because on the builder's timesheet that they filled out, they said they've been working 8 hours a day for 4 weeks straight, equaling 160 hours. And they had this timesheet filled out saying that they've been working since January 13th, when the first time they even talked to the buyer was on the 19th. They're saying that it's going to take 160 hours or 20 days of a work week to work on the PC. First off, I know nothing about PCs, as in everything that I do and have done has been on a ThinkPad that I've been using for the last couple of years. And I have seen multiple people say that they can put a PC together on average in about 6 hours. I think there's someone who built a PC for the first time and they did it in 12. So people are just confused in general about what the artist is spending their time on to spend 160 hours. So it's just a regular PC, and the only thing that's custom about it is the artwork that's going to be on the case. And people are still saying that if the PC is going to take 6 hours, the art isn't going to extend the thing to 160. Because the quote that Dokibird got and showed was that the artist said it was going to take 280 hours, as in 160 for production labor and then 120 for pre-production labor. And at this point, people are saying that the builder is just extorting Dokibird at this point. The artist sent in multiple quotes, each quote getting larger than the last, with the largest quote being $15,000, with the labor alone on that one being close to $12,000. And just to remind you, the PC is still worth less than $4,000. At this point, the manager's confused since they received multiple quotes, each one going higher and higher, when they told them that the budget is 7.4, but somehow they're getting quoted for 15. And then they start asking, where did this number come from? And from Dokibird's side of things, they said that it seemed like the artist just kept adding on random services that Doki's team never asked for. So after a while of this, the builder, who was not officially in a contract with any of them, says that they're not going to continue to work for them until they get paid. They're saying they want to get paid 5,100 USD before they continue, and they say that the project is going to total 11,600. All this for a PC that costs $4,000. Even though I don't know anything about PCs, charging triple the amount of the actual item for labor seems insane. They want more than what the PC is even worth before they even start working on it. Because remember, PC's $4,000, but they're saying they're not going to work until they get the 51. Even though nothing of the PC is even built. They spend weeks at this point talking about quotes, budgets, what parts to use, but nothing about actually building it. Another option that the artist gave is that they can stop collaboration with them and they can find a new builder, but they want to protect their original concept, and the builder wants 25% of the invoice before deductions, which is 4,100 USD. Or they can cancel the entire thing, but then they want 5,100. They also bring up the fact that if budget is the issue, they could take tax deductions since they're doing it for charity. Doki tells the artist that they haven't taken any tax deductions and they're not gonna since the money is not hers and she never feels right about taking deductions. And it makes her sad that the artist thinks her this way, that she's doing charity for tax deduction purposes. The builder also asked Dokibird how much of the money actually went into the auction and what did the charity receive. Because to Doki, it seemed like the artist is asking how much did she pocket before everything went to charity. And I mean, it's a weird question to ask someone who's doing a charity auction. You kind of just assume that all the money is going to the charity, and it's just weird to ask how much Doki is essentially pocketing before it goes to charity. And this is where Doki leaves the group chat, saying that the manager will now be in charge of the entire thing. So at this point, the manager is asking questions about what they did that costed this much, and what was the formal agreement with Manager 1, since at this point, they're not going to be using their design that they made for the PC for the auction winner. There has been zero communication during the project, no quotes explained, no asking for feedback or approvals, or for anything, but they're asking for some sort of payment. But there's really nothing that has been done, so where are they getting these large numbers from, since every time they talk about it, the price somehow gets higher? So, the manager wants them to provide a significant amount of evidence of the work being finished on their end before any compensation, since they have nothing to go off of but the artist's word. So, the manager asks for any amount of proof, and the builder brings up the fact that Manager 1 said back in March, Dokibird would be paying 100% of everything, no matter what. Well, the current manager is saying that the past manager shouldn't have even claimed that, since they worked for the old company. Because the only physical work and proof that the artist has proven is the mock-up that they showed Manager 1 back in March of last year, which is a list of the PC parts and the artwork that they're going to put on the PC. The builder is claiming they spent 2 to 4 weeks making the mock-up, but to the manager, they find it hard to believe, since they believe that amount of work should realistically take 2 to 4 days, but not 8-hour days. Since on the timesheet, the builder claimed they spent 8 hours a day for 3 weeks straight just working. The manager tells the builder that the group that they're currently working with and the group that Manager 1 was a part of are two entirely separate companies, and that the current manager that they're speaking to is the current company that is officially owned by Dokibird, and that none of the other companies have any legal agreement with the artist or contract. The builder says that their work isn't limited to just the mock-up, but they also provided breakdowns of additional labor, administration work on their spreadsheets. They also talk about proposals and updated hardware lists and cost breakdown calculations of the project planning and coordination of other documents. So then the builder, for some reason, contacted the charity manager of the charity auction site that Dokibird used to get a better understanding from their point of view. From what they understand, the auction made a contract between the auction winner and Dokibird, saying that the winner will get a PC created by the builder. They're saying, as per industry standard, the item or the PC has to be made by the builder specifically in the auction unless stated otherwise. Since Dokibird has an obligation under the contract and the item that the item has to be made apparently specifically by the builder as advertised to the customer. The manager is still asking the builder for any concrete evidence, since they asked them 3 to 4 times at this point to just provide anything, because the manager wants to know everything that they did so they can get an accurate compensation thing. The manager asked the builder for several things, but the builder never provided one. The builder said if they aren't compensated, they're going to stop speaking until they get paid. The manager said if you wish to stop communication on your end, then they can't further help to look for a possible solution between the both of them. And the manager basically ends it off with saying, if you want to pursue this legal matter, then contact us at this email and hopefully you can find a resolution. And that was the last thing that the builder said to Doki's team. On Doki's side of the document, we see that Doki sent a message to the artist 10 days later, basically saying that they requested items of proof multiple times in various emails and DMs, and the builder stated they will provide it to Doki, but Doki has yet to receive them, and they are still willing to provide compensation if these items are provided, so they don't understand why the builder is just ignoring them. And the last thing Doki's team sent was an email the next day where it talked about how they never personally agreed or communicated on any of the pricing on the cost that the builder made for them. They talked about how the builder claimed that they had worked with Doki before 2025 on more things other than the mock-up. They asked the builder to provide these things to show that they did work before 2025, but they didn't show anything. The builder told them that the mock-up didn't cost anything until they started adding on more items that they had no proof of, and then they started charging for the mock-up. The builders told Doki's team that they had a time-lapse video of them doing the work. Dokibird's team asked the builder to provide this time-lapse video to see the work that they did, so that they would be compensated, but every time they would ask for the time-lapse video, they would never send it, and at this point, they're asking if the artist even had a time-lapse video to begin with, and that was said on February 13th. April 20th, they find a new PC builder. Dokibird upgrades all the parts out of her own pocket, spending nearly $10,000 on Amazon. Amazon then canceled the order since to Amazon it seemed like a fraud case since they were sending $10,000 worth of PC items to a whole different address. Since Dokibird is from Canada and they were sending the items directly to the new builder who is in the States. The plan was for Doki to buy the PC parts through Amazon and send them to the new builder's address. They wanted everything to be done quick since the buyer would be leaving the country for a bit, and when the order got cancelled, Doki and the auction winner decided that, Doki would just send the guy $7.5 thousand for them to make their own unthemed PC, and that's how they resolved the entire matter. The money was sent to him on May 11th. On May 13th, Kat made her 2-hour video saying that Dokibird only paid because of public pressure when she paid before the video was even up. And I'm gonna say this isn't gonna be the last time we talk about Kat, because in the next video, it's gonna talk about how she was clickbaiting someone's cancer for her video. So that's what. If you liked and subscribe, make another video.